Assalamu alaikum and welcome to Tinker, Tailor, Solder Fry here on the mighty Loading Ready Run Video Entertainment Network. My name is Ian Horner and joining me today is nobody, because today we are coming to the end of a journey. A dream is a wish your heart makes. And 5 years ago, my heart desired a Dreamcast that wouldn't need me to bend over and swap discs or rely on what could be a mechanical device that, well, despite tune-ups and repairs and maintenance, could one day fail. Yes, it's time to say goodbye to the old GD-ROM and hello to the brand new world of hard drive enclosures. Yes, we are finishing our Dreamcast Retrofit. And
I thought for a sec that you were gonna like fit it with a 6 CD changer or something.
No, but wow, I was in Value Village the other day and managed to find on the shelf a 496, I think was the number. What was the number of Blu-rays that you could shove into this? The only person I know who has that even close to that many Blu-rays would be Matt Wiggins, and I think he likes to keep them on his shelf for display purposes.
Wait, this was like a jukebox thing that could play them all?
Yeah, it was a Sony like CD changer, but for Blu-rays.
Holy crap!
Yeah, kind of amazing. So, when we last left our hero, we were in the midst. We'd finished soldering the BIOS, and we were able to get it to boot, which was amazing. However, despite the fact that we were able to boot it, I think that I had burned the wrong copy of Dream Shell and was unable to boot up into it. So I reburned a copy. God willing, this is going to work. I really should have tested that.
I feel like we need a disclaimer about the different uses of the word burned because there may be several uses of the word burned in the context of this.
Good gosh, that's right. Yes, this was a CD-ROM burning. Kids, ask your parents about burning CDs. Wow, we're starting to get to that point, aren't we?
Now, because the Dreamcast, did the Dreamcast actually have copy protection on it?
The Dreamcast copy protection relied mainly on what people refer to as security through obscurity. That obscurity being that no one has a GD-ROM. Unfortunately, the GD-ROM also was able to read CDs without any problems, and turns out that the majority of Sega games were able to fit comfortably on a CD, which meant piracy ran rampant. But we still need to connect a few things back up here, because we were hastily... You know what, I'm going to actually unhook a lot of stuff here, just to make sure that everything is in place, including the Switch, which...
There's a Nintendo Switch in there?
Yes, well, I don't know if it's a Nintendo Switch. I think it's probably made by an unknown company from China. Doesn't say. The Switch is unbranded.
No name brand Switch.
Yes. All right, so we got that out. I'm very happy with the modularity of the parts within a Dreamcast. Like, I've spent a lot of time inside this console now, and just being able to, first of all, internal power supply. How great is that? Don't see that much anymore these days. Or I guess the modern consoles are back to internal power supplies, and then just a simple motherboard. So here's our... once again, just to go over what we've done, here's our new BIOS chip, piggybacked on top of the original BIOS chip, hooked up with a couple of resistors. We have our switch in place, soldered to the necessary points on the motherboard.
So this is the same BIOS chip that you initially... this is the second iteration of this BIOS chip that you tried earlier, or you tried a while ago, and the soldering didn't work out.
Well, the problem wasn't with the soldering. The problem was with me moving the pins around too much until one of them eventually just broke off through metal fatigue. So we had to order a couple. I ordered two because God knows I was already paranoid of doing the same thing I'd done to it the first time. But now we've got an extra one, which is good because I have an extra Dreamcast just in case this one had any problems. All right, so everything
Here's
looks...
a Dreamcast I prepared earlier.
Always said I'd never do that on the show. What are we looking at here?
A Dreamcast.
We are definitely looking at a Dreamcast. I just wanted to talk about a bit more about what's going on here. At the end of the last episode, I was a little bit worried about the SD card reader because it needs to connect up to the serial port. Turns out I didn't need to worry too much about that because the Dreamcast or the Dreamshell BIOS, there are versions that are able to boot directly off hard drives should you have the information on the hard drive. So that's what we're going to attempt to do today. Is we're going to attempt to do a just straight hard drive boot, and we'll just bypass this whole SD card system completely because that's no longer necessary.
So previously, it was the BIOS was on the SD card, and then it, in order for it to boot, and then it booted off the hard drive.
Well, no, the Dreamshell software, I guess you could call it an OS, was on the SD card.
Oh, I see.
And then the BIOS was just told to look at SD cards rather than at the GD-ROM.
Couldn't you just put everything on the SD card? Like, an SD card couldn't, like a normal, 64 gig SD card could hold basically everything.
Yeah, all the games. There are some people who do that. The reason I didn't do that, well, the reason I bought this was because I thought that would be the way I'd end up modding my Dreamcast. Like, hey, I can just have an SD card adapter and everything works fine in there. Turns out that loading anything through serial is very slow.
So it's a different adapter.
Correct. Nigoki, this particular adapter has a SATA has an IDE connector on it, but apparently it is compatible with IDE to SATA adapters, certain ones, one of which I have with me here. That is something I prepared earlier. So hopefully that's still working. This was, God, I think I remember using that back when I tried my first mod of the Dreamcast, which was, if you recall, pulling apart an IDE cable and attempting to solder the wires directly on the bottom of the board. I think I actually have that. So I did bring my the Dreamcast spare.
Oh, this is the first iteration Dreamcast?
Well, no, this is the case is one that I picked up from a pawn shop that they sold for me cheap because it didn't have the laser setup, but it was made by someone who decided that they wanted to drill a bunch of holes along the edge of the top here, where the little nubs are, and install sweet LED lighting around the edges of the interior.
What?
Yeah, so we're not going to be using that.
So fancy.
Why?
Because it's...
What? Why not?
Blue LEDs, the scourge of the planet. All right.
You're more of a yellow... LED boy?
I'm a fan of LEDs that don't burn your eyes in an AV situation. So, red LEDs for power status or flashing at red for write information. Green preferably for power in general. Yellow is nice too, a nice amber LED. Blue for nothing.
What about purple?
Purple? I don't think... Are there purple LEDs?
I mean, I guess you could filter them, but
like
it's not very common.
And then you can of course RGB them. Okay, wow. So I guess this is... no, this is my previous Dreamcast attempt. And you can see, if you get it right in there, right in here, that's where I was soldering directly to the wires directly to the board. You can see some of the debris left over from that, and possible
little
lifted
dark
pads.
spots there. Yeah.
It's not good. Not a good area. I think this thing still boots, but I haven't checked yet. Maybe we'll do that later if we're looking for something to do.
I feel like there's like one of the like fundamental things of like DIY electronics projects is once you start like splitting up a ribbon cable, you're in trouble.
Yeah. You're going down. You've chosen to go down a path.
Yeah.
So if we can get this one to boot later, I might end up just having a spare hard drive Dreamcast around. There's also apparently someone who's making a new case for GD-ROM-less Dreamcasts, meant for use with the HDMI adapters and the various other bits. But of course, that's $150 just for a case. I'm not sure if that's worthwhile.
I wonder if those. I know on Checkpoint we did a thing with. One of the stories we were looking at was, I forget what the name of the company that does like the super high end retro consoles.
Oh, Analog.
Yeah, they did one for Super NES and one for Genesis, where they're using the field programmable gate things, and
FPGAs.
where they're really emulating them at a low level, and then they put them in like super fancy cases.
Johnny Ive style cases.
Yeah. I wonder if somebody's working on something like that for Dreamcast at this point.
Ooh, a Dreamcast emulator in a box like that. I think we're at the case that there's enough Dreamcasts out there that might not be necessary, but who can say? I think I got that backwards. I think I need to put my power supply in after I get the GD-ROM in.
So, but this one is just spare part, or that one was just spare parts
Yeah.
this time. Yeah.
This one is my keeper.
As long as you don't break it.
Well, I mean, come pretty close to doing that several times. Who knows? Today might be the day. Okay, let's get that in there. I'll use my little adapter to hold down the cover to make sure that it's thinks that the cover is closed. Let's plug in the Katana board.
That's what
Or
the
Katana subboard. Yeah, that's what this is called.
that's what the controller board is called.
It's called that because it's cutting edge.
Ooh, wow. I mean, I think you probably aren't wrong, Matt. Actually, I just learned a little bit about
Katanas?
Japanese etymology of the word sashimi. I forget what the word is now, but if you check out Maki Ito on Twitter or Facebook, she put together a quick talk about that. And the reason that sashimi doesn't use the common word for cut fish is because it has the word cut in it.
Oh.
And back in the olden times when samurai were still a common occupation, samurai were very superstitious about anything that used the word cut. They didn't like it, and I can understand why. It's like, oh, you know what? That might happen to me at any point. Okay, Dream Shell, come out of your hole. Dream Shell RC4. Let's hope and prayer. Hopes and prayers, people. Wait, where's my audio? Because I did.
Can it run without a case like that, just spinning on top of it?
Oh yeah. Well, the case.
Fancy.
If you'll note, actually, might as well just show it off here. So the case has a pass-through hole, and that sits nicely like that.
Oh.
So it's the case doesn't really do much. The disc sits inside a clip, so it doesn't fly anywhere.
For some reason, I always imagined that CDs had to be like something to do with the laser made that CDs had to be enclosed in order to work properly.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff that.
I guess it's spinning at whatever 1,000 RPM. So yeah, you want to not touch it, but
There we go. What do we get on the screen? Okay, well,
hey,
that's working.
it's a swirly.
Okay, set time. Let's set the time because it's not 1998 anymore. Oh boy, isn't it?
It's 1999.
I don't want to give the Dreamcast culture shock. Maybe we should just kind of ease it into, be like, oh no, don't Dreamcast. It's only it's only 99. You're fine. You're fine.
Why are you setting it for 420?
Why am I not setting it for 420?
Is there a Y2K thing on this?
Thankfully, no. I mean, it came out just soon enough after Y2K that I think they were pretty aware.
Hey.
Okay. All right.
So this is just a normal, or this is just a regular Dreamcast boot up sequence
Yep.
now. Eh?
So now it should be booting the drive if I've done this correct, if I've burned this disk correctly.
Dream Shell.
Well. We've entered the Dream Shell, friends.
Ooh.
So job done, or?
All right, not quite. Now I'm going to have to look at this. Now comes the part of the the part that's going to be a little bit nerve-wracking.
Why is it angry right now?
Oh, it's reading.
Okay.
It does this.
Dream Shell 4.0. Wow.
Yeah, there's been a number of versions.
4, as it says.
Hey, there we go. Loading occurs. We're here. Oh boy. Oh boy. Oh boy. Oh boy. Oh boy. Okay.
A very kind of Windows 3.1 aesthetic.
Yeah. I mean, well, the Dreamcast had a mouse. It did work with the unreleased Quake. Half-Life. Which
There was a first-person like Half-Life
They-
with mouse and keyboard.
they ported Half-Life to the Dreamcast, and it was never released because, I mean, as you can see what loading was like just getting this up, you can guess how much loading was in Half-Life. That said, with a hard drive, probably a lot easier.
I wonder how far along they got before they were like, "Wait, this is a terrible idea. Why are we doing this?"
Wow. That seems so weird to me because the Dreamcast, in my mind, was so separate from computer gaming being viable. It was like a console world when the Dreamcast was out.
Yeah, well, I mean, it was the Dreamcast was probably one of the first. It was probably something that made Microsoft sit up and take notice of. Hey, we can just build a computer that's a console.
Yeah.
Because this ran Windows CE. It had native VGA out and not anything else.
Yeah,
It was
I mean, I remember the first Xbox, like literally had the same graphics card as I had in my computer at the time. Like that was really the transition point. You know, now of course consoles are all just commodity parts.
So we're gonna start. What's in these settings here?
Flashing the BIOS.
Flash list. What do we got in flash list? Burp.
Ooh.
Burp.
Macronics.
That's how you add. Yeah, that's the
Whoa.
keyboard.
Nice. Nice.
Wow.
Escape. Escape. What? Escape.
That is the first time I've seen a keyboard like that.
It's not very good. Okay, so we're looking at currently, we've got the regular BIOS is there, voltage 3 volt, access read only. But if we flip the switch
Oh no, the Switch.
and then hit detect, well, would you look at that? We now have read-write access to a BIOS chip.
You hacked the system.
You're in.
I think what I'm going to do,
So there's just you just wired in a switch that you can turn the read write on and off.
you can, well, not that. What this switch does is it actually switches the BIOS that's currently being read from.
Oh, so both BIOSes are actually active at the same time, or can be active, not at the same time, but like you don't have to actually take one out to put the other in.
Exactly. So now I can maintain a vanilla Dreamcast experience. If I was concerned about not being banned from the Dreamcast online community. But I believe that now I need to know which BIOS it is that I'm going to.
The good one.
Yeah.
Put the good one on it.
So this one, the tutorial that I've been looking at is using a different application that just goes directly to the Link 83 BIOS flasher. Let's see what's in the file manager here. Squeak.
That thing's so angry.
It's got to go to a lot of areas. Okay. Wow. VMU CD. What's in CD? Apps command. Firmware. Okay, good, good. What do we got for firmware? BIOS.
Is older.
Dream Shell. Bootloader. DevKit. No GD-ROM BIOS. Okay, so we can have DevKit, no GD-ROM, or Retail, no GD-ROM. I think we want to go with
Nogdrum?
Developer, just because that's cool.
I mean, will that mess other stuff up?
It shouldn't. And of course, now that we have the option to write, we can just try different things.
Mm-hmm.
CD bin DC. Okay, so let's head on back then to our good friend the.
Ooh, fonts.
What fonts do they have?
I guess we'll never know.
Oh, well.
Now, what I'd like to do is get us into the hard drive so that we can explore the system a bit better without this.
So is the hard drive isn't actually plugged in yet?
No. We don't have a hard drive plugged in until we get a.
If we delete all fonts except Papyrus.
Deleting all fonts from the world? How did that happen? All right, well, let's write. Oh, this is so easy. DS, bootloader, devkit, no GD-ROM. Confirm. Reading. Don't touch the Dreamcast, and even don't breathe.
What?
J.
Hear that, chat?
Hear that, Jay?
Erasing.
You have a backup of the files, right?
Though there's nothing on the file right now.
Okay.
It's just erasing the because the internal BIOS is currently not set to write, so we can't F that up unless our chances of effing it up happened when we were effing around with solder.
Okay.
Oh,
Error.
writing fail. Status code 5. That's interesting.
What is status code 5?
I don't know. I'm going to try. You know what? Let's try again. Let's try the retail.
With Nogdrum?
No GD-ROM?
Yeah, no GD-ROM.
But don't you have a GD-ROM?
Well, we're taking the GD-ROM out,
Oh.
which is the issue. Yeah, we want to use the BIOS that says, "Hey, we're not looking for a GD-ROM." Status code 5 usually means no permissions.
Oh, that's for Windows, though. They might be an entirely different status code system.
Yeah, while it's doing that thing, I'm going to check. Dream shell flash status code 5. Aha. Other people have had this error.
Oh, good. That means you can relate to them as human beings. Error, status code 5.
Ah, okay. There are apparently some possible flash issue, or some possible, not flash, but, what's the word? Bridge issues.
My bridge.
So let's double check there. Okay. No help on Reddit. Let's.
That's just a general.
Yeah. Does this not predate Reddit, though?
Oh boy. Whomever did this on Dropbox did not do as clean a job as I did. Okay, let's take it down. And then we're going to get in there with our multimeter and check some connections. But
So the error 5 is something is not actually connecting in?
it's a possibility of an issue.
Huh. It seems like the electronics are working well enough, from what I can tell.
Okay. All right, let's unhook this. Yeah, it looks like the person thought it wasn't a wiring issue, and then turns out it was a wiring issue. So despite how neat I might have things in there, there could be something wrong. And the only way we're going to find out is by getting right in there.
And breaking some things.
But incremental progress. We are making it. And I'm very happy to be making actual progress.
I'm noticing kind of a black area in the back corner of the...
Oh, this? Yeah, there was an issue with the power supply back in the day.
Okay.
It got hot, and then...
Oops.
Yeah, it got hot, and then something happened, but...
We're fine now, though?
Yeah, it's been fine.
Okay.
Okay, so... CD's burned properly, but we can't burn our ROM file. Let's get this out here, and let's start checking connections. Right, let's get the motherboard all the way out. Onto the table. Hi.
So this is the idea with this is it actually kind of sits on top of the real BIOS, right?
Yes. So yeah, we can get a better look at that now.
Overrides it.
If Matt wants to have a look there. If we can get Matt to just focus up on the edge there. You can see that there's one on top of the other there. Once the
Focus. Hey, there we go.
There we go.
I see.
Yeah.
And then those wires there go out to that switch to turn it off and on.
Yep, and also there's one wire to a connection on the motherboard. So let's get our multimeter. Continuity testing.
Because you don't want any continuity errors.
Mm-hmm. I mean,
Otherwise, all the fans get in trouble.
there's only one fan in here. And I am not going to replace that fan with a Noctua. I mean, I probably will. Okay, that's continuity testing. All right, so specifically, we want to check pins 4 and 5 for a possible short. So, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, no short there. And the pins do... Oh, wait a second. No, that's good. Okay.
We're testing, really what we're testing here is lack of continuity.
Yeah.
We don't want continuity.
I just wanted to make sure that there is continuity between the pins on the top and the pins on the bottom as well.
Mm.
Okay, check pins 11, 12, 13, 23, and 24. So, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So once again, 4 and 5. No shorts. It's 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and 11. 11 to 12, no short. 11 to 11. Good connection. 12 to 13. No short. 12 and 12 are, I believe, not connected to each other, so that's good. Now we need 13. Is that connecting to itself? Good. Okay. 12 is good. 12 and 13 are not shorted. 13 and 14 are not shorted. Okay. Uh-oh.
You were hoping to find one?
Yeah. And 23 and 24 now. Okay, no short there.
Damn, you're perfect.
Okay, that's good.
Soldering abilities. Oil Slick in the chat says apparently the original poster said 24 to the motherboard was their issue.
24 to the motherboard. 24 to the motherboard. That's not something That's not something I have soldered here.
Well, there's your problem. I don't know.
I'm thinking it might be the motherboard connection, but I want to make sure that it's the right hole. This is one of those things where a clip might be useful. Okay, yeah, everything seems to be...
A-okay.
Well, if not A-okay, at least correct. I'm just trying to follow a trace now to see if there's another point I can test this at. Okay. Okay, that's in there. So don't that.
Here's an interesting thought from Not King or Able. Booting the system with the BIOS on, as opposed to turning it on while it was already booted.
I don't know how that would work.
Oh, right, because it can't boot without.
Yeah, without
because
a
it's
BIOS.
got no BIOS. Like if that one's like that BIOS chip is currently empty, right?
Correct.
Hmm.
Okay, that's... Okay, there's one possible other issue here, but I don't think it's the one that's causing it, because it shouldn't be. And that's the power point here. Oh. Okay, that's good. Now, is that getting to the... Is that line getting to where it needs to be? Second wire. That goes... Oh boy. Should have used different color wire, but I didn't want to buy different cap or different
Colored wire, yeah.
yeah, it's expensive wire.
Can Matt give you a hand maybe for holding things in place?
Oh no, it's just me trying to find out which wire I need to.
Trying to make his eyes not cross looking at this.
Okay.
I think I know what your problem is. You cracked open your Dreamcast and fiddled around inside of it.
That shouldn't be the issue.
So according to the continuity tester, everything's good.
Everything seems good. Let's, again, more carefully. Pin 12? Why is pin 12 important? Hmm. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Okay. That's actually important. Checking. Okay, that's good. Okay, everything seems to be good.
Were there any other posts describing different solutions?
Oh, hold on. Someone's mentioning that they had issues with after installing a wire.
They shouldn't have installed that wire then.
Well, everything looks right. Let's go back to our system here. Yep. One is bridging those two. So one is connected to there. Good. Two is the center wire, and that's connected to the motherboard. Yep, that's correct. And three is connected to the other resistor on the bottom. That's correct. I mean, that shouldn't be an issue because that's the sort of thing that's going to give us the power. Let's try it again.
We technically changed nothing, but let's try again.
I mean, sometimes, Matt, all it takes is a reboot, or which we didn't try. Sometimes what it takes is unplugging everything and plugging it back in again.
Sometimes what it takes is to not breathe, Jay.
Yeah? Don't breathe, Jay. Don't breathe. Okay, that's going to be fine sitting where it does because there wasn't a... I'm going to take this out of here just in case anything might be shorting on it. We'll go bare plastic this time.
Is it not supposed... What?
Well, it's in there as a shielding thing, and we're not... I mean, we are technically in a broadcast environment, but not that kind of broadcast. So.
We're only in a lightly irradiated place.
A wee irradiation. All right, that's in there. This coverage, I've covered that off, so that shouldn't short anything there. The big thick cover. Okay, Katana's...
Thick with the QUE.
Okay.
That seems like it should be more secure.
It should. It's got screws when it's normally put together.
Okay.
But I'm not.
You're not screwing around?
I'm not buttoning this up until I can guarantee it's going. Where'd my GD-ROM go? Is a phrase that everyone needs to be able to say at least once in their life. Where did I put my GD-ROM?
Where'd I put my goddamn ROM? You're not putting the shield in? Like the little plastic shield?
Nah.
Okay.
Well, you know what? Yeah. On this one, probably a good plan, considering the evidence of past power supply issues.
I mean, also, if you get it right this time, you don't want to take it apart, put it back together, and have it be wrong again.
I mean, at this point, once it works, I might just end up soldering the BIOS directly to into hack mode. Okay, got to plug in the Katana because otherwise it doesn't boot. All right, plug in a controller. CN1A controller port 1. All right, and
CD. And power.
Power and cables. Almost tried to plug the power into the serial port. That wouldn't have worked at all.
You can only put oats and wheats into the serial port.
PC selected. All right. PC load letter.
We've somehow turned the Dreamcast into a printer.
See, this is what happens when you don't have a BIOS in it.
Just nothing.
Nothing happens. Switch the switch. And we get swirly.
Hopefully we get swirly. I'm seeing a lot of nothing.
Yeah. That's interesting.
The light on the front of the TV is blinking. Is it actually on?
Yep.
There we are.
That's HDMI, DVI.
Cable, PC.
No signal. I did have the right switch on, right? Flip that switch again.
You really should label that switch.
Probably. Cable's tight.
Was that shield actually really important?
Shouldn't be.
Maybe it was shorting in just the right way.
I think I've got it. I think that was in not right BIOS mode. It should be original.
Original flavor BIOS.
Huh.
Did you plug in the video cable?
Yep.
It's spinning the... Like, it's spinning the disc
Yeah,
as if it's reading it.
Everything's spinning up correctly, but we're not getting the... Well, disassemble. Let's put the shield back in.
Yeah. Well, it didn't sound like it was reading the disc because it wasn't
No.
making any sort of angry noises.
Exactly. You definitely know when it's reading the disc, and it should jump right into the Dreamcast.
Do-da-da-da.
You know what I think it was? Yep, I'm pretty sure that's what it was. Or wait, was it? No, that switch was... The switch was on, correct? Correct. Yeah, that switch controls everything. If that switch isn't plugged in, then nothing starts up. Okay, get that out. Unplug this carefully. Take out the top shield carefully. Do everything carefully. All right, lift this out. Have a look again, make sure everything's still in the place it should be.
Those little blue wires are all still happy.
Yep, all fully connected and soldered up. So let's get the bottom shield back in. Return
Return the mother.
to the board. Top shield is put back. Good, nothing's blocking. Get the katana back in its subboard, back in its place. Continue to
Other one first.
place the GD-ROM inside. Get that connected solidly.
Place the goddamn ROM in there.
Plug that back in. Everything's in place. Video reconnected. Power.
Is something supposed to be connected to the other side of that power? Like that, where all those pins go up in the power cable?
Oh, this thing?
Yeah.
They're actually passed through into the power supply.
Oh.
Yeah.
Cool.
So rather than another cable, they just like drilled some holes through and made it plug directly in. It's a nifty design that I have not seen anywhere else.
It's spinning.
Yep. Hardware's working. Nothing. Okay. Flip the switch because, again, I've forgotten.
It sounds a little Scream-like.
Yeah, a little whinier.
The switch has graduated to whining.
Is the plug on the other side of the TV still plugged in? Yes, it is.
And your little blue adapter thing there.
Puck's getting power. It's strange that it's just not outputting anything now.
Sounds like it's not even trying to load anything.
Yeah.
Maybe it's mad that you set the date to not the correct date.
What, it's 420? No, wait, it's not 420. It's 220.
It's Thursday the 20th. Simpsons meme.
Only a few days you can use that. Oh, come on. Like, it sounds like it's loading up.
Well, at the very least, Ian, you can rest assured that Jeffy Jefferson loves your head.
Well, thanks, Jeffy Jefferson. If you were the J that breathed during the initial test, I hope that's not your doing.
Do we have to text James and tell him not to breathe for a little bit?
I think James is probably fine.
Because, like, it has all connections to the TV plugged in, right?
Mm-hmm.
TV has power, because it's getting no signal, but it is turning on.
Well, you know what? Just for some gigglies, let's try plugging in our other Dreamcast board and see what it does.
Just for some gigglies.
Yeah. Let's eliminate any possible issues here. Dream shell goes there. Take out the GD-ROM, which seems to be fine.
Power first.
I think I can get it out without power. There we go. Just slips in. All right. Now this amazing hack job. Let's see if we can't connect it up. This is an amazing hack job, by the way. I am not a fan. Okay, that's in there. Okay, get that plugged into the motherboard.
Plug into the mother.
Cam?
What?
Cam is our game mother. In Heat Death, a RPG.
Is his position called Game Mother?
Yes,
Yes.
it's an alien pun.
Mother.
Great. Love it.
I feel like the mother part of mother is like in all caps.
Mm-hmm. Probably an acronym.
Yeah. And the M stands for mother.
I eat, I.
All right. Will you do a boot for me?
Should this one show something?
Yeah, it should ideally show something.
Well, you're holding a wire that doesn't connect to anything, so.
Yeah, I sure am.
Except for your hands.
You're shorting together that wire?
Yeah, what was this connected to? Oh, that's connected to the LEDs.
Well, it's not spinning at all.
That's because I didn't hold down the thing.
Okay. There we
Okay, so
are.
that's what's supposed to happen.
Nice and fast, no problems.
Yeah, so at least I know this Dreamcast motherboard is still fine.
Mm.
Bleep, bloop.
Wonder how many spirals they drew before, like if they've got like all sorts of different styles of spiral, different tightness of spiral,
Yeah, was this the first one, or was this the...
different wobbly, or if it was just like some random engineer was just like, here we go, there, done.
I'm not sure why, but it seems weird to me that it goes clockwise. Deep in my soul, I feel like it should go counterclockwise, and I don't know why.
I mean, it is the direction the disc spins. Anyway, we've confirmed that the
Oh no.
video is not the problem. Okay. Let's just see if having a rest was enough to fix any issues, and if not, then we'll take it apart and have a look. Deep looking at the board.
Stare into the
I do
board.
like that interpretation that somebody was like, you know, we'll put some kind of spirally thing here like this, and then nobody actually changed it at any point, and then 6 months later it went to production, and the guy who drew it's like, wait, what? You guys actually? No,
That was a placeholder.
that was FPO, guys. Oh dear. Oh dear. Oh well. My art is now everywhere. Does that controller need to be plugged in?
Shouldn't need to be, but I'll plug it in anyway. And I should also confirm that I'm switched to the right port next time we're in there.
Mm-hmm. Maybe you need to install some LEDs into the thing to make it work.
I'm sure that'll help. All right.
So something got bumped when you did the continuity testing?
Probably that's my guess.
Wow.
Because but
I mean, to be fair, like people, the stuff online of people having issues, most of it does seem to come down to, I need to, check the solder.
Mm-hmm.
But then again, that's just what you did, and it was fine.
It appeared to be fine. I'm wondering if I managed to knock something out of place when...
This is one of those, like, the uncertainty principle things. By measuring it, you have changed it.
Okay, this I also want to check because I had issues with the with this piece here last time I was soldering things, and if that came loose again, then that could also be an issue.
The katana is broken.
Why would you ever break your katana?
Well, Drop's a sweet dude.
What a fresh reference.
Yeah.
Giant katana just throwing a guy around.
All right. We've got a special guest here as well.
Yeah.
All the way from Snorsh, we have Hype Man, Andrew.
It's me, Snorshman!
How's it going, Andrew?
It's pretty good. How about you?
Well, I could be better.
You didn't breathe on it, did you?
I totally breathed.
It
Well,
specifically warned you about that.
Yeah.
it wasn't even breathe on it. It was just don't breathe, period.
Yeah, don't breathe J. I think it was.
Yeah, that's right.
J as a replacement for a period.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm going to just check every single one of these connections now.
I like to think that he was actually talking to like a specific person. He's like, hey Jay, remember that time you messed up my BIOS? Yeah, don't do that
Don't
again.
do that. We talked about this.
Classic J.
Yeah.
So we got this ridiculous thing in the mail.
That's amazing.
It goes on my head.
It's battery powered.
It is all. Yep, it is also battery powered. With a. Whoop, there we go.
Oh, that's cool as heck.
But most importantly, it allows me to get both my hands in there, which is vital. Oh, hey, that's a lot easier when you put those things behind the glasses rather than in front of them. It was incredibly uncomfortable last time I used this.
Those things combined with the apron and the like you've got the perfect like tinkerer.
Yeah.
If those were made out of like bronze, it would be very like steam. It would be very like steampunk.
Yeah.
Which,
Terry Gilliam presents Tinker Tailor Solder Fry.
as you know, I'm a huge steampunk fan.
Yeah. If they had gears hot glued to them for no reason.
You know.
Well, I'm not supposed to talk about the PS5, but
Oh.
actually, I read a really good article about steampunk the other day that talked about essentially how we could owe both the rise and fall of steampunk to the iPhone.
Really?
Yeah.
Why?
With regards to the rise of it, like it was a niche subculture that spread very much because it's visually impressive, and suddenly everybody has camera phones.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Right, so sort of Instagram style.
Yeah.
Before Instagram, really, but yeah.
Yeah, but it also kind of went into like, it was also one of the first really common consumer devices that was essentially a sealed black box that we no longer understood the inner workings of.
Right.
You can't change the battery. We have no access to the file system. Like, you can't do anything. It's just a sealed glass chiclet.
Which is sort of the opposite of the sort of exposed everything aesthetic.
So in response, people kind of found romance in the idea of machinery that was exposed, machinery that was a throwback to a simpler time kind of thing.
And then the look didn't evolve at all for a couple of years, and people got kind of tired of it.
Yeah. Well, it's more so that it just became acceptable to, like, nobody thinks about the fact that that they're just chiclets now.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, it's what phones look like. Which was an interesting change.
Yeah, sorry, and Andrew's not wearing a mic, so.
Oh, yeah. I'll just yell into Ian.
So I found a pin that I'm not sure is fully connected. So I'm going to just touch it up a bit, but.
Yep. Fully connect that pin.
Yeah, I don't necessarily think that that's the issue, but I'm willing to give anything a try at this point. So let's get out this. Have you done much hardware hacking, Andrew?
Bits and pieces. I have a drawer of failed Arduino projects.
I was just in the process of
hello.
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 I'll help you have a conversation here.
I mean, I could actually, like, go get one, or just, like, use one of the ones over by Paul. But yeah, I have a drawer of failed Arduino projects that I use, kind of thing. So, for Dreamcast, I didn't really do much with that. Like, I had a BIOS flasher, but I never actually wound up having to use it because it didn't have any copy protection. You could just burn stuff and play it.
Yeah, this particular situation is all about getting a hard drive loaded onto it, so you can just have all games all the time.
Right. None of the spinny bits.
is the plan.
Or at least the spinny bits are more reliable spinny bits.
Yeah.
Yeah.
More automatic,
that are
more digital.
easier to replace.
Yeah.
And common. I'm going to give this a bit of flux because that's important. And
Bit of orange pledge.
And I haven't had a chance to
Yeah.
replace my rig to hold things up. So we're back to the magic cards.
Magic cards are useful for so many things.
Yeah. Leveling tables.
I mean, to be fair, that's one of the main ones. Leveling different items.
Let's see if we can get a little bit of solder on the tip of this just for gigglies. Actually, let's cut off a bit here for me to use. That's a bit smaller. Whoop.
I mean, I feel like those little blue wires are sort of the point of easiest failure just because they have more. They have things. They have more options for stuff to tug on them and things. But
that looks better. Yeah, this is not as fun to look at because very tiny stuff. If there's any companies out there that make the stereo, what do you call them, microscopes, that wants to send us one with a camera in it, we'd be happy to show off your stuff on the air.
But as for today, this is hashtag non-spawn.
Hi, I'm Todd McFarlane, not creator of Spawn.
And I am testing the microphone.
Hey!
Hooray!
Says, welcome, real name Andrew Ferguson.
Yeah, let me see. I'm going to see if I can sneak over a chair over there behind you, Samsung.
Please
Oh,
do.
perfect.
So did you just refer to Samsung as a proper noun?
Yeah. What about it?
It's nice to respect your devices.
Andrew Ferguson, aka Justin Timberlake.
It me ordering coffee every time.
So again, actually, because we have a slightly different audience for this particular show compared to our good friends over at Rhythm Cafe.
Right.
You do work with chiptunes, right?
I do indeed.
Yes.
Yeah. I produce chiptune shows over in Vancouver under the name Vancouver Chip Music Society, alongside Brian Chan and a number of other talented folks. We got a new show called Overflow coming up in April, on April the 6th, National Tartan Day.
National Tartan Day?
Apparently.
Okay,
I don't know, that's what it said on Google Calendar, and I'm just running with it.
great.
Do you have like some particularly like Scottish chip tunes?
Turns out no. There's not a lot of Scottish chiptune.
Like how do you do bagpipes with a chip tune? Like I feel like that would be a tricky one.
I would legitimately watch that though. That would be good.
What kind of a square wave makes a bagpipe noise?
Yeah, no. Yeah, Chipsill's Irish. I can't think of anybody Scottish off the top of my head. But we're bringing up Hyper Potions from down in the States, as well as Graz from Seattle. So I'm really looking forward to that. And then we got a couple of folks from our open mic last time, Plussel and Schnoodlebug, who are local, who we just have open mics at every show. And then those are kind of folks that we're like, okay, like if open mic for anybody, but if we really like your stuff, like come back and we'll give you a full set kind of thing. So both of them are going to be there.
So is an open mic work just by like they bring up their laptop and plug it in and go, or is it?
Usually Game Boys, but yeah.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Do you,
Like,
do you like people to actually like play it like live, like with a Game Boy or something, like actually like produce it live as opposed to just like opposed to playing a recording of it? Or
with LSDJ, like it's so time consuming to actually like make a song because it's basically tracker software, but all you have is the D-pad and A and B.
right.
Yeah.
That nobody really actually like makes it live, but people perform and modify it. It's similar to how Girl Talk does his live sets. Like all of those samples are recorded previously, but he's not just like pressing play and dancing up there.
Right. Yeah.
He can all of the samples loop and go in and out and everything like that, and he can change and modify it as he needs to.
Right.
So it's that same kind of vibe. We
You
get
can
people
layer it.
Yeah, they layer it. So we get people to sign up through Google Forms and just like tell us what their gear setup is, and then we make it work.
Nice.
Yeah, it's fun.
Very cool. I would really like to make it out to one of your shows at some point.
Yeah, I would love that.
As a
Fuji came out for
performer,
one.
or-
Oh, sweet.
Yeah. The folks at Tangible Interactive come to my shows sometimes, and they do basically the coolest like LED stuff that you can find out there. They're Vancouver-based, turns out. So they do tons of stuff for the festivals there. Those interactive LED balls that the Arcade Fire had on the Reflector tour was them. Purity Rings, Light Organ, stuff like that.
Huh.
Yeah, they do like concert grade stuff.
That's
They're
a
wild.
lot more, yeah.
Yeah.
Just coming up with like custom lighting or like
Yeah.
lighting special effects solutions.
Yeah.
That's a grumble from Ian.
Yep.
Uh-oh.
Ian bridged some pins, so Ian's got to get out the soldering or the desoldering braid. Put that down there. And of course, yeah, I decided to contact Miniware about the issues with my soldering iron, and unfortunately, it is outside warranty.
No.
So
This is you had some firmware issues with your soldering?
yeah, with the soldering iron decides to shut itself off, or just crash every now and then, like right now.
No. It's just like, nah.
Yeah. You got to reboot it.
There is something to be said for when the machines that don't have the ability to crash.
The analog ones.
Yes, there are other problems that can happen with soldering irons, though.
Yeah.
It's true. It's true.
This is my basic argument against any kind of like cybernetic technology that you would put in your body at this point. Like anything more complex than an RFID chip, I'm just like, name a piece of technology you own that doesn't break,
That you trust.
that you trust enough to put in your body.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a reason why like the space shuttle doesn't run Windows, right?
Yeah. Oh man, have you ever looked into their code review practices?
Oh.
Imagine it's pretty heavy duty.
Yeah, it's intense. It's like, it's impressive because they go through everything line by line, character by character. There's like 8 or 9 steps or something like that. So even a one-liner will take like a while.
Yep.
And it has to go through. I don't know if they still do this, but they used to print it out as well.
It's timely, too, because I believe that the Dragon capsule is currently undergoing that type of check right now.
Ah, nice.
And they're expecting it's going to take about 4 months.
Yeah.
Well,
It's,
I remember the stuff about like the Mars rover. There's a thing many years ago when like I think it was Spirit
Right.
like it stopped.
yeah.
Like it basically crashed. Like it
Oh, no.
or had a glitch,
Yeah.
right? But they could still contact it, but it just wasn't doing what it was supposed to do, right?
Yeah.
And so I was thinking about it like I spent a lot of my early career doing like phone tech support. All right,
Right.
so this is like phone tech support,
Yeah.
but everything you want to do has 25-minute round trip,
Yep.
and anything that you cannot obviously have any physical access to the thing, and you got to be really really sure.
Yeah.
And you had and they have like a copy of the rover on Earth, right, to
Yeah.
do this kind of testing.
Yeah.
But of course, you don't know exactly what state the rover on Mars is in.
Yeah.
Right. So it's like the most intense phone tech support you could possibly imagine.
Well, you have to be really, really sure about what you're sending out there, but you have like 25 minutes to think up each step.
Well, that's,
I imagine probably a little bit longer than that.
It's funny you bring that up, too, Paul, because they recently just had to do that with not the rovers, but with, God, what was it? Voyager, I believe.
Yeah, I was going to say, didn't we just get one of the Voyagers back?
Yeah, it just came back online.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Isn't that the one that's like way out at the edge of the solar
Yeah.
system?
Past the heliosphere.
Yeah.
Is that the one that we like? I know there's one that we like lost.
That was one of them.
Really?
Yeah.
And they've somehow found it again?
It,
I'm going to have to look this up because I don't remember the details.
I believe it put itself into a low power mode because it was...
Holy crap. If they like the idea of being able to actually find something that find something again that's been lost out in like that you've lost the signal of, to actually detect it again when it's out in space that far seems just incredible.
Well, the thing is, they know where it's going to be because that's physics.
Right,
Yeah.
except it wasn't there. Is
Oh.
what that was my assumption, was that they thought they knew where it should be, but it wasn't there, and so they were stuck.
That might be a different thing then.
Oh, okay.
Okay, yeah, it was Voyager 2. And it apparently used up so much of its energy that it automatically hit like a shutdown
Wow.
circuit and then shut down to conserve power. until it apparently went offline in November 2018, I think, or
That's a long time.
So it's got like a atomic power source, right?
yeah.
Well, when we say atomic power source, it's really just a piece of plutonium.
Right. Yeah.
That's making a very small generator. Okay, so there was this wire going in here. I had soldered it such that it was going past the edge of the resistor it is connected to.
Oh ho
I don't
ho!
think you're going to be able to get in close enough, or maybe you can.
Ooh.
Oh yeah, there we go.
Wow.
Intense zoom.
Yeah.
So you can see. Let me see if I got something pointy enough. There we go.
To stab it, like
No, to show.
Just a show.
Who needs a microscope solder thing? Just
There you go.
It was
just
this
look at the
wire
TV
here,
monitor and
and you can see here that there's a little bit of bent
Yeah.
stuff there. That's me bending that wire out of the way because it was poking into some of the pins on this chip.
Oh.
I think that might have been what happened. Thank you, Eric Hotel. Thermoelectric radioisotope battery. Basically a bunch of Peltier junctions slapped on a red hot piece of enriched uranium.
Science.
They do the job.
Yeah.
Okay, where was I? Right.
reassembly.
I think it was like an XKCD comic or something that was talking about like how dumb plutonium, like your radioactive material is. Like, it's like, oh yeah, I think what do we use to power this probe? Oh, why don't we use those rocks that just glow and emit infinite amounts of energy for no
Yeah.
reason?
Yeah.
Wait, what?
You know the one. You know
Is
the ones
that a
that kill us if we get close to them.
Yeah, yeah.
Let's use one of those.
If it wasn't for the fact that they kill you when you get close,
Yeah.
If only there was
they're so efficient.
If only there was something out there that could do work but not be susceptible to radioactivity. Robots.
Yeah, there it is. Thanks, Corvus. Yeah, because it does just sound like unobtainium. It sounds like nonsense. It's like you made that up.
Yeah.
One of the problems with space flight is, well, the biggest problem with long-term space flight is trying to figure out what to do to protect the astronauts from radiation. So, I mean, that's the benefit of robots, is that we'll just add more radiation and it'll work better.
Doesn't matter.
Well, and I mean, like, we're sending off these power orbs, these power rocks into space to get them away from Earth. We don't want them near us.
Yeah, they're dangerous down here.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll
Send
just
them off.
shoot them into elsewhere.
I did a bunch of in the previous career. I did a bunch of work for the Atomic Testing Museum in Las Vegas.
Oh, no way.
Yeah,
That's awesome.
I worked for a company that designed museum exhibits, and there's all these great pictures of it's like it was. I mean, before they figured out the radioactivity stuff, it was like, holy crap, we have infinite power.
Yeah.
This is amazing.
Yeah.
And so there's all stuff of the radioactively painted cutlery and
Yeah,
stuff.
radium and all that.
It's great.
Yeah.
It just glows in the dark for no
Yeah.
reason.
This is so cool.
Yeah.
And people like watching nuclear bomb tests just with like binoculars, like standing.
Oh, no.
It's just like, oh Jesus.
Oh, man.
Radium toothpaste.
Yeah. I like to think of, like, what's the thing from our generation that's like that?
Ooh.
I mean, I guess
Wind
we
turbines.
don't know yet, but
Social media.
Yeah.
yeah.
Facebook.
I mean,
I feel like how
Marshmallow
long
peeps.
I was just going to say sugar seems to be turning into that.
Yeah.
How long do you think? Like, how long was the honeymoon era where people were like, social media is like a universal good. It'll be great. Like, we're deep into the everybody hates social media part now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But like, do you think was there ever a time when people were like very optimistic that social
Yeah.
media was
People-
going to be
oh,
a very
no.
Oh,
positive
yeah,
thing?
yeah.
People
Web
really-
2.0 era.
People really believed Facebook when it first started that helping people communicate will make things better.
And the frustrating thing about that stuff is, like, that's still completely possible.
Yeah.
Just
Yeah.
all of the people who own the social media infrastructure don't want to do that. They want to
Well,
sell your browsing habits.
The incentives are all messed up.
Yeah.
And it turns out that most people don't want to communicate with everybody else in the world because most of the people in the world
Don't speak their language.
are
Yeah.
not necessarily people you want to talk to.
Yeah, most people don't want to communicate.
You know, I think that's biggest problem with like Twitter and stuff, right? Is that people think they're talking to each other.
Yeah.
In actual fact, they're standing on their front lawn with a megaphone
Yeah.
and pissing everyone else off. And so it just sort of turns into a shouting match.
Have you ever gone back and looked at your earliest tweets?
I'm not on Twitter, so no.
Oh, okay. I originally started my account War and Peace to tweet Tolstoy's War and Peace one sentence at a time. But when I gave up on that after about 7 months, I just started using it to chat with my friends in Vancouver. And we kind of used it as just like, sure, it's public, so you don't put anything private on there. But we just kind of used it as a group messaging system. Like, the vast majority of those early tweets are just like, hey, anybody for brunch tomorrow?
Yeah.
Like, anybody downtown right now? I'm over at the library.
And like,
whereas now, like, you can imagine you doing that, and then just like 50 people are like, "Oh, hey, you're going for brunch? Oh, cool."
or the whole problem with it being rude to do that. Right?
Switch to switch.
I like the flowers, by the way. They're a nice touch.
Yeah, we can thank Matt for that.
Yeah. We had those brought in for Valentine's Day.
Nice.
So here's the question while we're still vaguely on space.
Oh!
Okay, good. What's the over-under we all feel like on Beetlejuice?
Oh, shit.
On Beltagees?
What? Wait. The plate, like the
Yeah,
solar.
the star is doing some weird stuff right now.
Uh-huh.
And the question is now, okay, is it actually going to explode? Because it's going to explode sometime in the next 10,000 years.
Right.
But will it be our lifetime, this year?
22 minutes from now.
Yeah.
Okay, good. We're all in place.
La,
Click.
da, 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 da.
So let's all remember, left is original BIOS,
Mm-hmm.
and right is extra crispy.
So, I mean, I guess it's already exploded, technically, right?
I mean, yeah, if it has,
Depending on your particular interpretation of.
nothing can. Well, I mean, the gravitational waves, I believe, actually move faster than light, but only slightly.
Huh.
Of course, yeah, it gets into the concept of how do you evaluate when something has actually happened. Anyway, but
Get in the light cone. Honk, 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 honk.
I feel like there's. I like the idea that there's like some other aliens looking at Beetlejuice, being like, "Oh, geez, we better go fix that."
Yeah.
Like aliens that are advanced enough that they don't just have to look at something that's going to explode; they can
Yeah.
actually like go and
Yeah,
help.
we should do something about this.
Yeah, we've got like another 1,000 years or so.
All right. Oh, let's go back and check. Let's make sure that we. So, read-only BIOS. Flipping the switch. Detecting.
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 Detecting. Detecting.
Okay, now it's not detecting the BIOS.
It's trying to.
So you're supposed to fire it up in read-only mode, flip the switch, and then get it to redetect?
Correct. Well,
It is broken in a new and different way, though.
yes,
Fun.
which I like.
Which coding has taught me means progress.
So your most recent soldering thing seems to have actually disabled the chip.
Yes, but we're booted. We've got back to boot now, so.
Yeah.
Okay, let's head back and let's try restarting again. Because that's... Turn off. We're in right, which is extra crispy. Let's see what happens when we start up. Yeah, plummeting sloth, you've got it. This is broken in a new and different way. Progress.
Here's the real question, though. This mod, like, it's going to give us the hard drive. It's going to give us all the games on it. How does it affect my ability to breed chows?
You'll be able to do so much faster.
All right.
Because much less loading.
I'm in.
I am surprised that they never returned to that game, like the mini game.
Oh, yeah. Because it was... Didn't they for Sonic 2, or no?
Sonic Adventure 1 and Sonic Adventure 2 had
They both had it.
chow breeding.
Yeah. and then it was just gone forever.
And then they were in some of the advanced games, I think, like collectibles, but you didn't do anything other than gather them.
I think I still have my VMU somewhere.
All you kids and your chow breeding, when what it's really about is the firm, large mags.
You gotta have those big mags.
They're bringing that back. Phantasy Star Online.
Yeah, didn't they just announce that there was going to be an English version of the most recent
I
one?
think so.
Yeah, I can't remember which one it was, but it was the one they did a language patch, Monster Factory of it.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
So
with
like,
Adult Cool.
so Phantasy Star has been out in Japan for a while.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
like there is still a Phantasy Star Online, whatever the current one is in Japan, that the McElroy brothers played with an English patch. But apparently, like just a couple of months ago, there was like, and we're going to release it in the States.
The real thing is coming.
Yeah. No, it is apparently on Steam for $1.
Oh, great.
Nice.
The original Phantasy Star Online?
It looks like 2.
Huh.
Yeah, Dark Morford says Phantasy Star Online 2's been out in Japan for about 5 years, and they're finally doing an English release. Neat.
Yeah. It feels like they should be at a way higher than just Phantasy Star 2.
Yeah, I was like, didn't one come out while I was in college? Actually, you know what? I'm okay if they're only on 2. It makes me feel youthful.
Yeah.
Conserving the numbers.
Yeah.
It's good time. Time to enjoy. Time to soak it in.
Did you break it again?
So this is odd. Because all we did was restart a couple times. Or at least once.
And now it's not,
And now it's back to,
even in regular BIOS.
yes.
Huh.
Even when it's on the left.
So that's leading me to believe that it might be another problem, that these wires might be too long?
Is there maybe something to it heating up and not liking being warm?
Doubtful,
Okay.
but that is a possibility.
Because the only thing that I would think that would change with turning it on a couple times in succession is its heat.
It's heat. Interesting.
I can go get some cold water.
For the Dreamcast or
Yeah.
just for yourself?
Yes.
Gotta
We'll just have to
hydrate.
we'll just have to put it in the freezer. For
I will. I will water cool it through the Dreamcast and then drink it. Yeah, infused water is the new thing. It's 2020.
Infused with solder.
Yeah,
See, that's just tea.
Sonic's piss.
Is that just water?
I don't know.
Was that in the new movie?
Yeah,
Okay.
Our rings are performance enhancing.
It's
I mean, clearly they are.
they don't actually explain it in the movie, but I assume it's the same as the thing like where if you go to the bathroom a whole bunch of times because you're drinking a whole ton of water, you may have noticed that your pee gets clearer. So I assume it was just like the extreme end of that, because like it's definitely Sonic's piss is super clear in the movie.
interesting. You see, if I were to ask what liquid would Sonic the Hedgehog urinate, I would guess Quicksilver.
Ooh, that's a good one.
I thought that came out the other end.
Get me a cup of that hedgehog's piss. And then I want to test him for drugs. What's
Wait.
that from?
Aren't hedgehogs monotremes?
Oh, I don't know.
Or is that just echidnas? A monotreme animal is, I believe, a mammal that has a cloaca, basically.
Ah,
I believe there are many aspects of Sonic's anatomy that is not like a hedgehog.
does that mean we could do the Shape of Water but with Knuckles?
The Shape of Water and Knuckles.
That's the correct.
Yeah. Come on.
I feel like images of that may already exist.
I want to see Knuckles get fucky with somebody in like 1950s stylized Guillermo del Toro style.
Just go onto DeviantArt. You'll find it.
Yeah, okay.
Ask our good friend, the other Del Toro.
Benicio?
Yes.
Does he know a lot about Knuckles?
He's the director. Well, he was the.
Guillermo del Toro was the director of Shape of Water.
Okay, who was the one who's the director of the big punchy robots? Pacific Rim. That's it.
I was going to say Gundam, but
Wasn't that also Guillermo del Toro?
Oh, okay. Then it's the same one. Perfect.
Isn't it?
Yeah.
same guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, Benicio del Toro, different. He's an actor, different
Yeah.
guy.
We know I have this problem.
Yeah.
I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if he's directed something, but
Pacific Rim and Knuckles.
You're doing what to Knuckles?
Beautiful.
I really do wonder how much growing up on DeviantArt changed me as a person.
You specifically.
I don't have to wonder at all.
you look at the DeviantArt, and
Yeah.
the DeviantArt looks back at you.
Yeah.
Well, here's the biggest problem, though, is that I was in the Sonic fandom
Okay.
when I was on DeviantArt.
Yeah. Did you have your Sonic Sona or whatever it is?
Barely.
Yeah.
Never really was one for OCs.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah.
I did do the search, Google search your name and the hedgehog to see what shows up. I don't recall being particularly impressed by any of the Andrew the Hedgehogs, though.
I feel like there are lots of Matthew the Hedgehogs.
Yeah.
There were definitely a couple weird Ians.
Just normal Ians, not the Hedgehog, just Ians.
Where do we come down though on the Sonic canon? Because I was always a big fan of the Archie and the Saturday morning cartoon.
Oh, the
The
crossovers.
Mobius
Yeah.
ones or
yeah,
whatever.
specifically the ones with a storyline.
I never followed those ones.
Yeah, I always remember that as being a very odd time, like to be a kid watching cartoons, because there was two Sonic cartoons, one fairly like relatively serious,
Yeah.
and one like incredibly goofy
We gotta find her mom.
at the same time, and it was just like I don't know how to deal with the split continuity.
Yeah.
How come Mario doesn't have a cartoon now?
Yeah. Or just like the thing that always bugged me when I was a little kid is when they first introduced the little TV guide thing, it'll be like, this show is on at 4:30, and it'd be like Batman's on at 4:30, and I'd be like, sweet. And then it would be the live action Batman, and I'd be like, oh. And then I grew up slightly, and then I was like, oh, okay, both of these rule.
This is what I want.
Yeah. Same thing happened with Mario Brothers, and I forget what the third show was.
I don't remember anything from the live action Mario Brothers show other than
Super
seeing visuals. I was young enough where I could remember the odd visual,
Yeah.
but like none of the content.
Yeah. I think growing up on DeviantArt or wherever has definitely just like wildly skewed our sense of like what will actually shock us or what will actually like make us uncomfortable kind of thing. Because like I know I'm not supposed to talk about certain things at work or here or whatever, but I'm like, I think absolutely nothing of just like, ha, that's hilarious, and sharing it to somebody else and then just being like, whoa, what the hell is that? And I was like, oh, right, sorry.
Desensitization.
Yeah.
Just a bit.
Yeah.
There's like an Onion article a while ago that was just like, you know, Marilyn Manson shocks 7.
Yeah.
It's just like
eh.
he like shows up at somebody's house like covered in entrails, and
Yeah.
people are like, oh, okay, whatever.
Yeah.
I just also love it when you encounter other people who are like that. Like there was a weird Amy Klobuchar vor thing that was making the rounds this week.
Oh yeah,
And somebody found it and wrote an article about how this happened, and I was like, this is great. Okay, finally, like
Finally, Vor.
Well, more so just that journalists also aren't like weird about this. They encounter the same thing, and because they grew up as we did on the internet, they're like, what is the story behind this?
Yeah.
Like, how did this happen?
Finally, we're getting some investigative journalism onto memes.
Yeah, exactly.
Know Your Meme has competition from the actual
Great.
actual press.
Which is good,
That's
because
what we
Know Your Meme got better, but they used to be real bad.
Yeah,
I never went on there.
they're not great as a primary source.
Yeah.
I think that's why I didn't go on there.
I mean, I don't envy their job.
Yeah. It's hard to know all the memes. But like during writing meetings when we're brainstorming crap shots,
Yeah.
it's like, oh, that's a really funny idea, and we definitely cannot write that crap shot.
Yeah.
So many of those. All great. Huh. A few more pins that don't quite have as much, but it still doesn't explain why it's not booting.
Are there any shorts in any of the wires like you had before? Because those are flexible and they might shift when you put the thing back together, right?
Yeah, but that one's not shorting. That one can't short.
And you just went through and like checked all the pins and stuff a little while before I came in, right?
Yes, but there's some really close stuff here, so I'm going to double check one here. That might be a problem because I might have...
Like it working and then not working, it's got to be some sort of loose connection or...
Yeah.
Yeah, that really...
Or, you know, like the slight temperature differential expanding something, or I don't know.
That was a great shot.
Wrong cut.
Wrong cut.
Well, Jeffy Jefferson or whatever
Yeah.
likes Ian's head, as he said earlier, so I'm sure
okay.
he appreciated that.
The content that the crowd craves.
Yeah.
Everyone wants.
Thinking back on it, I was on DeviantArt when I was like 9.
Yeah.
God. I was seeing inflation art on the front page when I was 9.
Well, I mean, you wouldn't have seen anything too bad because, of course, you didn't check that box that said
Yeah.
you're over 18 or whatever.
It was clothed inflation art.
Yeah. I think the box on that website at the time was I am over 13. And I lied.
As we all did.
Yeah.
You can't lie to the box.
Andrew, the
hell yeah.
hedgehog.
There we go.
Your shadow, but not.
Kinda, yeah. I need those boots.
Huh.
What's it look like?
I'm beginning to wonder if this switch might be just effed.
Oh.
Is the switch the problem?
I mean, it might be, and that would explain a lot of things if it is.
Yeah.
Can it operate without the switch?
Oh, absolutely.
Like if you just wire it directly together, can it I guess, but you need to be able to turn it off and on though, right? In the middle of the thing.
But I mean, that's just
wow.
shorting wires together.
This is component video. I haven't seen that in a while.
Yeah, my goodness. I think this might be the issue.
Do you need to resolder the switch then?
Well, let me make sure it is the switch, because I'm going to check the wires directly on the switch.
It makes sense because the switch has just kind of been dangling outside of the box the entire time whenever you're assembling
Banging
and
it
deassembling.
around.
Yeah.
Yep, that's fine.
I do fault Nintendo for calling their console something that leads to a lot of unnecessary ambiguity.
Well, I have bad news for you about the new Xbox.
I know. Well, no, but it's the Switch is even outside the world of consoles.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Especially
I know.
There's also there's a big stretch where due to some issues with how it signaled over HDMI, the Switch was actually messing with switches. It was actually messing with HDMI switches.
Huh.
And so our Switch was switching to the Switch by mistake. And so when people would be playing games on other consoles, it would just suddenly go black and switch over to the Switch.
Oh no. It's just really eager to be used.
Yeah.
All
that happened when that got announced was I saw like everyone in the center of the diagram between gamer and kinky out themselves immediately.
Oh yeah,
Like as soon as the title got announced, it was just like boom.
every gay man I know, including myself,
Yeah.
loves how they called it the Switch because it's just a really easy joke to make all the time.
Yeah.
And we do.
Yeah. It's never not funny.
Yeah.
Okay.
Huh?
I'm kind of convinced that this is the problem.
Ah.
Great. You're convinced last time that something else was the problem, but
Well, we can try. If we keep trying different things that we think are the problem, we'll eventually find the right one.
Yeah.
Okay, so I need to mark off
Step 1, isolate.
one side of this as ground and one side as good. Could I get you, Matt, to bring me the gray and the yellow tape?
gray and yellow tape.
Thin, please.
Thin.
Just to answer a question from chat from Voy Rising, my shirt is not a riff on an album cover, but a particular style of plastic bag primarily used in convenience stores in New York that just says thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, and then have a nice day along the bottom.
Oh yeah, those ones.
Yeah. So you see them in a bunch of places, but they're mostly just like it's just a common design riff, like the jazz design for those 1980s paper cups that came back in Vaporwave.
It is such.
Oh, the thank you for, we were happy to serve you cups.
Yeah.
Yeah. It is
those.
such a common everyday design that I didn't even notice what it said.
Yeah.
It just washed over me.
Yeah.
I believe, though, that is one of the like grocery bags that is features in like American Beauty, right? Like isn't it one of those?
It might be the plastic bag.
The most beautiful plastic bag in the universe.
Plastic bag.
Really?
Yeah.
Huh.
No, it's coming back as a design thing. I have 2 different shirts now that are riffs on this. The other one is ban billionaires, make them pay. So.
I mean, we've canceled plastic bags, so you know they're done.
Millennial socialists, we shop at convenience stores.
Yeah.
Okay, how do I best want to do this?
The correct way, probably.
The correct way? We're far outside the correct way at this point, Matthew.
Oh no.
The correct way is in the rear view mirror.
Somewhere far behind us.
Goodbye, Switch. I hardly cared for ye.
What are you replacing it with?
Twisted wires. We're just going to see if we can do this the hard way. God damn it. Ah, these are the most difficult wires to strip.
Because
Is-
they're so thin.
Is there some specific reason why it has to be such thin wires?
No, not any particular reason, but I don't want to resolder the other end of these right now.
Okay.
Or ever.
Yeah.
There.
Just get really thick ones. They look like you've got jumper cables coming out of the side of it.
Yeah.
Like it doesn't actually need to. Just get wire that's so thick that you have to cut a hole in the side of the Dreamcast for the wire to stick out and loop around.
It's like it's not even wire. It's just a metal rod that's been covered in plastic.
Yeah. Diesel punk.
Yeah. There we go. That's the one I still like.
Yeah.
Let's use
Well,
the-
solar punk is a up and coming.
Yeah,
genre,
solar punk's
so-
still a thing. I miss sea punk.
sea punk.
I mean, it still kind of exists, but it's not nearly as big as it was a few years ago.
I mean, he evolved into CM punk, right?
Yeah.
Good. Glad we got there.
Yep.
I'm not a wrestle boy yet.
Me neither. Just the bits and pieces I've gleaned from watching too much Sidewalk Slam.
Yeah. I still need to spend some time with that.
It's really good.
I hear it is.
Like, speaking as somebody who doesn't watch wrestling and, like, kind of got into it a little bit, but doesn't... I don't have a lot of wrestling fans who are friends in Vancouver kind of thing, so, like, Sidewalk Slam has kind of become the primary way that I learn about what's going on in wrestling, and it's perfect for that.
Yeah.
They explain what's happening, they talk about why it's important, they talk about why it's cool or why it isn't.
They make it
And
relatable.
They make it relatable, and they make it accessible to somebody who doesn't know much about it,
Yeah.
and then they'll show clips.
I mean, to be honest, I would be interested to know to see in terms of like not demographics, but in terms of like how many people who watch Sidewalk Slam also actually do watch wrestling.
Yeah.
Because I've definitely
don't.
heard from tons of people who don't, which I mean,
Yeah.
I think is a positive for the show.
Yeah.
Stands on its own merits.
Watch Sidewalk Slam. You don't even have to watch wrestling.
Heck yeah.
You don't-
We watch wrestling, so you don't have to.
What's another genre that we could do that for?
Well, unfortunately, JoJo's already taken.
I mean,
Yeah.
that's sort of the whole genre of like rewatch podcasts and stuff.
Yeah.
I want to do micro podcasts that are recaps of like those slow chill things like primitive technology, so that each episode is literally just an audio clip of me shouting, "He built a stove!" Next episode.
Sort of a Cliff's Notes.
Yeah.
What if we were to do it for like question period, but still in
Ooh.
the style of a wrestling podcast? Like just all the trappings of wrestling, all the anger and intensity, but for
All the
budgetary
emotion.
items.
What are you doing after this?
Recording a podcast.
Yeah.
obviously.
You could take it back to the beginning of Canadian Parliament, and it's a podcast, air quotes, set in a pub over drinks. And then at the end, the hosts get into
Just a
Donnybrook?
scrap.
fisticuffs, a
Yeah.
scrap.
Yeah. Every episode ends with a fist fight.
Yeah.
I like the idea of like trying to recap question period, like kind of tongue in cheek,
Yeah.
like just treating it as kayfabe.
Well, I was a kid who grew up on the air farce on
Yeah.
on both the television and radio. Ah, damn it.
And like you could name the podcast Answer Period.
Yeah.
Like setting yourself the task of just like, recapping question period in an entertaining way.
Yeah.
I feel like would be a enough of a sort of Herculean task already.
Kinda. I don't know.
Like it's
Depends
I
on
mean
the
when exciting things are happening,
Yeah.
like when important things are happening, but there's a lot of question period that is
Yeah.
not important things.
I guess I really only see the stuff where like somebody's doing something funny, like Charlie Angus is just like dominating somebody and just like
Yeah, nobody's linking on Twitter to the videos of the rest of the time.
right.
But that's exactly why you need a podcast, is to make that sort of stuff entertaining.
Yeah. Or even just explaining the context of why they are putting forth the ideas they are, the arguments they are.
Well, there is actually kind of a similar one to that. A number of friends of mine in Vancouver do a municipal politics podcast called The Canby Report.
Huh.
Yeah. Pat Meehan, who some of you, I believe, have met and know, used to be on it. He was one of the founders, but he got a job in government, and he can't do both.
Fair.
Yep. So
Just
the
like
podcast
wrestling.
is done?
Yeah.
Sorry?
So the podcast is done?
No, he just left the podcast. Podcast continued with the other
great.
hosts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It seems like a lot of people I know work in government now.
It's a good job.
I mean, also,
You live in the capital.
yeah, also, if
Yeah.
you live in Victoria,
Guess where the government is?
Yeah.
Here.
I would say that, like, in Victoria, if any building is left empty for too long, it just becomes a government office.
Yeah. It metamorphoses into a brick building that's kind of boring to look at.
So what we need to do is, okay, we can solve our problem with Desert Bus by getting Desert Bus to become part of the government. Then we'll always have space.
Ah, exactly.
Yeah.
But then we'd be responsible for accepting public funds.
Do you want to solve this problem, or do you want to worry about all the other problems we're creating?
More problems. Oh, thank Christ.
You got it?
That's the third wire stripped. This is the worst wire for stripping.
Wow.
There, if you want to just play around with that, that's what it is.
Oh wow, this is very like it looks thin over there, but now that I'm holding it, yeah.
It's sized to get through the tiniest holes in on a circuit board.
Yeah, it's sounding wire. Thank you, Matt.
I'm trying to hold a camera steady.
Woo!
See, like, vor now is passe, but sounding, not there yet.
Sounding's the new vor.
Actually, here's something I learned in Office Trivial Pursuit the other day.
Ooh, tell.
So during the the construction of the Grand Coulee Dam, what animal was used to run cables through through ducting by tying string to their tails?
Polecats?
Rats?
Paul, you got an answer?
Before you said tail, I was thinking like a ferret or something.
I mean,
I'm just thinking something that's sort of like long and thin.
A greyhound.
No, an Iggy. They're smaller.
No, it was Matt is the closest. Just house cats.
House cats.
Oh.
Yeah.
Polecats are a type of ferret, Ian.
Oh, are they?
Yeah.
Look,
I didn't know that either.
So do they?
I just
Cat
assumed
and
it was the stage after Slump,
they-
where it's a really long cat.
Yeah.
They tie a cable to its tail and then like put something at the other end that it wants.
they didn't mention that part.
I feel like there's no way the cat ends up in a good position as
I
part
think
of this.
the only way to do that is just to seal the other side.
Yeah, like
A little closer to you. I think so.
like-
You're trying to get. There you go.
I feel like there's no way this ends well for the cat.
They get treats afterwards.
Oh yeah.
You just go pss, pss, pss to them, you know? Call them over.
If they don't get out, then that's a problem for the dam too.
Yeah.
So the question is, of course, when the cat doesn't go out, what do you send in after the cat?
A dog.
How many steps?
Let
do
me
you go
remember
back?
that. Let me remember the song here.
Joey. The cat collector.
There was
Yeah.
Tie a laser pointer to the cat's head,
Mm,
and then it's always
Hey!
moving forward.
yeah.
There was an old
Erratically,
lady who
but
swallowed a cat. I don't know why she'd do. I gotta stop trying to put that power in the serial port.
I mean, in your defense, you're looking for a port in the white shell on the back there, and there's one there, and the one at the top, it doesn't have the white shell around it.
all
So-
back ports look the same.
So what you're doing now is instead of the switch, you're replacing the switch by just literally like touching the wires together.
Yep. This is gonna go great, I'm sure.
You won't shock yourself at all.
It's 3 volts, so
I
it
mean,
should...
the voltage is...
Fuck! I mean,
Did you shock yourself?
damn. No, I bent the wire and destroyed it.
So somebody did bring up that apparently they're saying they use like they melt it as to get the shielding off such a thin
That's
wire.
that's not a bad idea. I'm going to give that a try. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually solder the wires together. So take
I
that.
do have this. That's...
But then you can't change.
No, I can
them,
desolder them afterwards.
Okay. Don't you have to change them on the fly, though?
No, just while the machine is on, yes.
Do you want to solder something that's on?
Absolutely, I do.
Okay.
Yeah.
What a silly question.
Yeah.
We live fast and loose here on
Sounds
TTSF.
exciting.
It's not Tinker Tailor solder play straight. Just be safe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tinker Tailor, don't solder.
Yeah.
Yeah, safety third is still some safety.
What are the first two things?
I don't remember.
Be nice and have fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, ever forward, never looking.
Yeah.
I like the idea that it's like, yeah, safety third. What are the first two things? I don't remember.
Always use barriers.
Well, if you notice on the apron that Ian is wearing there, Andrew, safety third is over top of the crotch.
That's where the safety is stored.
Ah.
Yeah.
I can't actually really see that from where I'm sitting, so I'm just going to get under the table for a little while.
This is very robust covering on this insulation on this wire. Heat get hotter.
It's probably designed to be heat resistant.
I mean, yes. Become 400 degrees Celsius.
Jeez.
293.012. Like, this is why I like the soldering iron, is it heats up fast. 362, 380, 400.
You think we could use that to just like really slowly sear a chicken breast?
Write your name in the skin.
Yeah, just
Yeah. In cursive.
real close to my hands there.
Massage the wire.
Back and forth. Oh, I can see some wire poking out.
Yeah.
There we go. It's starting to come. Maybe now if I just get my fingernails in there, pull. Not pull the thing out, but pull. There we go. Okay, good.
Now don't bend it too much.
Wire exposed.
Nice.
Okay, now.
But yeah, the combination of incredibly thin and also brittle wire is
It's difficult.
Yeah. Whose idea was this? Sega.
Well, the wire was my idea.
Nah, I'm pretty sure this is blue wire, Ian.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, this is clearly Sonic the Hedgehog cable.
Yeah.
100%. I'm just going to make sure that I've got the right wire selected.
I don't know why, but for a split second, I thought you were just going to touch the wire to the CDR as it was spinning. Just neat.
Chaos.
All right, what do we get?
Get a little bit of tingle.
Good tingle or bad tingle?
Well, not Nintendo, so good.
Nice.
bad jingle.
Yeah, it just needs to load.
So the end goal for this is just Dreamcast with unlimited games.
Basically, yeah.
Sick.
And hard drive. Because I would love to also be able to play, what is it called? Half-Life.
Oh yeah. Power Stone.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, I'm going to have to solder these together.
Yeah.
That's no question. Let's bring it, 400 is probably fine.
I mean, the fact that you are feeling a tingle means that they're soldered onto the board correctly.
Yes,
anyway.
exactly.
Yeah.
Right?
They haven't broken off yet.
I mean, it could also be psychosomatic, but attitude same.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I almost accidentally said qu'est-ce que c'est?
Wow.
Yeah, wrong song.
I would have loved that. Okay, there we go. That's bonded.
I'm not hearing the chunking of loading.
Don't you want this to be off right now? Like, you want the BIOS to be off to start
Yeah,
with,
I
right?
think I connected the right wires. I'm pretty sure I connected the right wires. TV off due to inactivity? Don't think so.
It's still blinking.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's just cycle our sources.
Like, we're already back to soldering stuff again. Is the switch not, like, still usable?
Well, so the switch, no, I don't trust the switch anymore.
And it's the only one we have.
It's the only one I have with me, yep.
All right.
So, okay, let's pretend that maybe was the wrong one to use.
Yeah, we could at least just check the other one.
Get that over here, use the same solder. Wires are connected. I mean, why not? Let's just double check with the multimeter to make sure there is continuity between those two connections.
Mm-hmm.
Because why not? Yep.
Cool.
Down, down.
And this should get us factory.
Yep, if everything is correct. Though,
That's an ominous though.
I'm noticing that the light is not on the Katana subboard. So we may have been in the right place all along.
The katana's just not plugged in?
No, I mean, hold on.
I saw a flash there.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, saw the flash when you
Yep,
turned it
so
off.
that leads me to believe that it is the wrong one. So we'll just disconnect this. Reconnect over here.
I know nothing about this, but the fact that it has to that it keeps wanting you to set the It's not like the clock battery is
Yeah.
messed up or something.
Oh, the
is
clock
it?
battery is probably fully
Longer.
dead,
Yeah.
But
it's
it can boot without that though.
absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah. That's just.
I
the
know
first
some.
thing
I know some computers actually can't boot without their clock
Yeah.
battery.
Yeah, that's just the first thing it does when you fire up the firmware. It's like, cool. What time is it?
What time is it, Mr. Wolf?
It's game time.
Gamers.
All right.
So there should be a light on in the front now, though, right?
Should be.
It's only flicking when you turn it off, and
I'm holding this power switch down now.
and now it's on. Now the light's on,
Yeah.
but nothing
On that
else.
Mario coin.
But when you let it go, the light turns off. Like I'm pretty sure that light stayed on before.
Yeah.
So you broke it in a new and interesting way?
Seems like it. Let's try one more time. Because that sometimes it goes on, sometimes it doesn't. I'd really hate for us to need an actual switch. But that doesn't seem to be the issue.
I mean,
Well-
theoretically, that light is just like whether it has power or not. It's not even.
Yeah.
Yeah, I could see it. I could see it being two overlapping issues right now.
Yep, I think you might be right. Wait, is that getting... Okay, actually, I'm going to disassemble and check continuity and resistance at the
Yeah.
board level now.
Yeah.
This is troubleshooting, friends. This is a let's try program. I haven't said that yet this episode.
If there's trouble, shoot it.
I mean, I'd like to, but we don't have House of the Dead installed yet. I wouldn't even install House of the Dead. I would install the typing version.
Typing of the Dead.
So good.
Heck yeah. Freaking ruled.
It's one of the first not iHorner, Matters of Import games, I believe.
Did you know that they re-released Choo Choo Rocket for mobile recently?
Really?
Yeah.
I think I heard that too, yeah.
Yeah. I still have that original like 10-second Japanese commercial for it seared into my brain. Kawaii. Oh no, that was later. Yeah.
Was it not set as a ringtone on your phone?
Wah-ba-ba-ba-ba. Yeah, the rocket taking off at the end is great.
Yeah. Okay, so turns out this yellow one was the correct one for bottom BIOS.
Aha. We call them top and bottom BIOS now.
We are totally calling them top and bottom BIOS.
Hell yeah.
Okay, so that.
What
is-
about the third wire?
Well, the third wire is the power wire. That's the gray wire.
That way you can have a power top and a power bottom.
Thank you.
I mean, in the configuration of the current BIOS chips, one is certainly
Yeah.
the big spoon,
Oh yeah.
and one is the little spoon.
Yeah.
I need a bit more solder on my tip there. Let's just get those together.
Hug your significant other like you've been soldered to them.
Yeah, someone in the chat, I think it might have been Real Gamer Cow, was like, there's got to be something in your electronics pile that has a spare switch. And I
Yes.
was like, hey, that's a lot of assumptions, but I'm going to take this in a different direction. I started looking around at what's on these shelves. I was like, what could I take apart?
Yeah, I do have plenty of switches, just not here.
Yeah.
Wait a second. That's a momentary button. Dang it. Like I have this pile of trash next to me.
I love it. It's just in there.
Momentary switch. Plastic. There was another one up here.
Wait. Is that? Oh, okay.
Aha! This one does have a switch, but it's only a two-way switch, which unfortunately doesn't really help us.
You need a 3?
Yep.
Oh, I thought you were only using a 2 before.
Well, you only use 2 at a time.
Is there another Dreamcast on the floor behind you?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
That was his first attempt.
Ah.
Well, it's a combination of first attempt and the piece of
Oh, yeah.
the pieces I got from the pawn shop.
Aha. Thank you, Gizmoloid. That is the commercial.
Okay, I'm going to say that's fine.
Mm-hmm.
Let's button her back up. See if it boots.
Juicy. I'm excited. I keep hitting my mic.
I am always excited to try. Next week, we're planning on doing home automation redux.
Ooh, nice.
I have done some new research into. Well, I've been doing new stuff in home automation.
Mm-hmm.
I've moved away from HomeKit or HomeBridge rather. That used to be my chosen controller, and now I'm using Home Assistant, which it turns out works with Apple HomeKit as well.
Oh, nice. I haven't found a place for home automation in my life yet.
The real trick that I found that makes it worthwhile is when you start getting light switches, not the bulbs, not the not the IKEA things with the extra switch. Like, take the light switches out of your wall and replace them with the Wi-Fi enabled ones, so that they still work like regular switches when you want to just
flip it on and off, but also
yeah.
nice.
And so you don't have to learn. You're only learning something extra rather
Yeah.
than trying to replace your behavior.
Right.
What kind of automation stuff do you actually have running at home?
Right now, actually, so in terms of automation, I've got it set up such that I will, when I sit down to watch TV, I poke a button on my watch that turns off all the lights around the house except for one that sets it to 30% off axis for my TV, just to have some room light.
Yeah.
And then turns on my couch under lighting to 30%.
You have couch underlighting?
Yeah.
Yes.
ground effect couch?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I do. I was like, what do I do with this LCD or LED strip?
Yeah.
Like, okay, I'll just put it under the couch. And
It's either that or you do the behind the TV thing,
Yep.
so it gives you the color glow of whatever color is on screen.
Ooh,
which
that's
I have
fancy.
a different plan for.
Ah,
To do-
nice.
specifically to do that color system. Yeah.
I saw that. Was it the new drivers for the lights that we have in Studio B, the nano leaves? There's drivers. The new drivers for them have a mode where they literally, like, a little program runs on your computer and
yeah.
takes the average color of your computer monitor and sends it to the lights.
I might be getting some of those nano leaves. I'm looking at them for a vanity solution in my house.
We have a light.
We have a light.
We have that.
Oh.
Okay, good.
Oh,
We're good.
Here we go.
The other thing that I have set up is that I have night sound on my sound bar available so that I can, be nice to the neighbors.
I just kind of have night sound on all the time so that I can hear dialogue.
So we've also got the dialogue enhancer.
Yeah, I've got I just leave both of those on. I've never
Yeah.
turned them off.
I like to have my night sound off when I'm listening to movies, just because I don't like how it changes the acoustics.
Oh, okay.
But
It just crunches it, right?
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
it's sort of a compressor.
But you have a proper like 5 set. Like
We've
you
got-
have rears, don't
we've
you?
gone to a Sonos sound play bar now.
Oh, okay. You have just the play bar.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have the same setup then.
But because I like to turn it off, I've set it so that every morning at 9 a.m. the system checks is night sound on, and then shuts it off.
Nice. Yeah, the one that I want right now is because I have hue bulbs in my house. I just want to try and get them to. I mean, the small version is I want it to be able to slowly cycle through colors rather than just setting a color,
Yeah.
the way the nanoleafs do. And then the next step of that is slowly cycle through colors based on what's connected to the Wi-Fi. Because I don't really have a purpose for this colored light, so I just kind of, by default, the main thing I've started using it for is I I set it to whatever color is my partner's favorite color, depending on which one of my partners is over.
Mm-hmm.
So if there's like a whole bunch of us hanging out, I want it to just automatically
cycle
start cycling
between.
through. It's
Yeah.
completely pointless, but fun.
No, that's
Or just like the like the color of the room changes
Yeah.
halfway through the room.
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
actually something that Home Assistant could do for you pretty easily. Because
Okay, I'll have to look into this.
one of the features
You
is
just have
that
to get everybody to wear like a little like Bluetooth dongle thing that tracks their
No, it's just
location.
phones.
Not-
So it changes color as
That's
they.
you're exactly right. The Home Assistant automatically discovers most routers, UPnP systems,
Yep.
and says, "Hey, I see all these all these devices.
Yeah,
Would you like to associate some of these devices with people?"
yeah. Because it doesn't have to be like ultra precise or anything. It's just if somebody's over, their phone is probably going to automatically connect to the Wi-Fi.
Yeah.
Therefore, it knows they're there.
Especially if they're friendly.
At a certain point, you
Yeah.
just start calling people by their color, like "Hi red, hi blue."
In my friend circle years ago, less so now, but we had so many errands at one point that we color coded them. So we had red Aaron, blue Aaron, green Aaron, gold Aaron, and for a brief while, boy Aaron.
Did they have to wear like different colored shirts?
No, the fun part was that they all had different reasons for why that was their name. Blue Aaron had blue hair. Green Aaron was a gardener. Red Aaron, her last name was Redicop. And I forget the reason for Gold Aaron. I don't know. It was one of those just like nonsense systems that your friends come up with in their early 20s.
We have read-write access once again.
Yeah.
Yay!
All right. Let's.
So
Nobody breathe.
now let's see if we can actually rewrite.
Yeah.
Yep. Right.
I feel like that sounds like you had a Power Rangers team composed entirely of errands.
Yeah.
It certainly felt like it.
Bootloader.
Yeah.
We are back to where we were at the beginning of the session.
Yeah.
Time for error 5.
Time
Yep.
for error 5. Let's do this.
Okay, everyone hold their breath. Wait, actually, you can breathe.
Oh, okay.
You can confirm. Okay, confirm.
It's only Jay that's not allowed to breathe.
Yeah.
Right, that's a good point. Jade, if you're out there, hold it.
Big money, big money. No whammies, no
Racing's
whammies.
good.
Don't wham the table.
Hey, you don't want to make the you don't want to make the BIOS skip.
Yeah. Error.
That
Same one.
That was very fast, though. Before it was getting like halfway through the writing before it error 5'd, which is interesting.
Was that just the read?
Well, that was erasing theoretically, even though there's
okay.
nothing on the BIOS, so it shouldn't need to erase it. But
Let's try one of the other ones here, just for fun.
The Nogdrom one.
Racing. Like, there's also a non-zero chance that the BIOS chip could actually be bad too, which would really suck.
Yeah.
And the erasing is working properly, which means that it's able to communicate with the chip. Okay. Writing fail immediately like
yeah,
that.
like it was definitely getting about halfway through the write process before. So I have no idea what that means.
Let's just see if there's anything else in that search that
What
came up
are-
quickly.
What are the other status codes? That's the
Error 8. Too much jam.
Maybe they don't have any other status code. Maybe it's like Mambo number 5.
Well, they were just being like they were like, okay, they do the like basic programming thing
Yeah.
where it's like we'll start with 5. That way, if we want to do earlier ones or later ones,
Yeah,
it'd be
we have
okay.
options.
Yeah.
Okay, let's try this. Dream Shell Flash Error Code 5.
Error code 5 was the same as last time, right?
Yeah,
Yeah, same error code.
duck, go. Give me the good results, duck.
Give me the good results, DuckDuckGo.
Untitled search engine.
God damn it. That's my one regret about not going to GDC this year is when I was thinking about going, I was fully intending to, during the both the IGF Awards and the GDC Awards, anytime the Goose was nominated for anything, just trying to start a chant. Like just where and the winner is Goose, 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 Goose.
Oh, that would have been good.
Not
Honk,
honk,
honk, honk, honk, honk. No, that's what we shout when it wins. Is honk.
Yeah.
I don't
And
even.
you just flap your arms.
You know what? You want to know what the best part about it though is? It's going to happen anyways. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Somebody else will do it. I don't even need to ask somebody else to do it. Someone else has thought of the same idea is going to do the same thing. It's going to be great.
So here's what they're saying on this other site that I was able to find. And check well the welds in the feet, but also those on the AWG cable. Fine on both there. A similar thing happened to me. I solved by replacing the BIOS that was fried.
Did you fry your BIOS?
So is there any like self-test system that can be run like to test the BIOS?
I mean, we could try reading the BIOS and comparing it.
Yeah, I guess.
Why did the CD stop turning?
Because it doesn't need to anymore.
Yeah,
Okay.
it'll just do that. Did you own a Dreamcast when you were younger?
A friend of mine bought the Dreamcast from the
Yeah, that's a
local
different error code.
rental
Reading
store,
failed.
but that was like after the Dreamcast
Wait, that was just-
had its day.
That was just trying to read the file off the
Yeah.
disc, right?
I think
Yeah, because you would also do this
Still
with
be comparing
unmodded,
it,
where you
I
would
believe.
you'd put in like a boot disk and fire it up, and it would read for like a minute, and then it would throw up like just some kind of weird graphic that's like, now load in your game, and then you would pop it out and put your burned game in and close the thing again, and it would just resume reading.
Yeah, there was some awesome errors with original PlayStation, like situations. Like I remember Graham had a original PlayStation, and there's like a couple times where like the disc actually like dropped out or popped out.
Oh no!
And then stuff but it would still keep playing, but stuff would stop loading.
Yeah.
So you would be like playing along, but no textures would load.
Yeah, it didn't have protections for that kind of thing.
Yeah,
Huh.
yeah.
You don't really see that in the modern. Well, actually, no. That immediately made me think of something I see in modern in Dark Souls speedruns, when they do the trick where they hit the camera plane but not the death plane, and then they use that to walk through an entire area that doesn't load, and then save on the other side of a door.
Let's try a Sega
Yeah.
BIOS.
That one's hacked.
Ooh, Link 83 I think is a good one I've heard.
Sure.
Are
Is
these
that-
all different BIOSes for the?
Yep.
Reading.
Actually, I believe Link 83 is the one that everyone likes to use
What?
for this hard drive mod.
Oh.
So maybe I was
Why
using-
weren't we using that one in the first place?
That's a good question. Perhaps because I've been doing things incorrectly.
Uh-oh. I thought Link 83 was a band.
Yeah.
Error code 5.
Writing fail. Yeah, it's like not even trying, really.
Yeah. Voltage is 3, but yeah, it still sees it.
I was really hoping to see the resolution of this, but I'm afraid I'm going to have to duck out, friends.
I'm very sorry about that,
Yeah.
Andrew. But
No,
thank you for
no
coming
worries.
by and joining me and
Yeah, I just got to go get dinner.
keeping me company while we attempt this.
Mm-hmm.
But
I very much really like the chill nature of this stream and how it's just kind of, none of the rest of us have to like kind of dig in there. You don't get a sense of like too many cooks in the kitchen kind of thing. It's just like, no, we're just working on hardware projects and
yeah,
chatting.
yeah.
It feels like hanging out at a makerspace.
Yeah. Half
of
the
thing,
time,
with cameras.
Ian's sipping beer.
Yeah. So yeah, thank you, friends. I'm gonna duck out, and I will see you all. I will see you all next time I'm on the island, probably, since I'm
Yeah.
likely heading back pretty early tomorrow.
Sounds
So
good.
great to see you all.
It's been a pleasure. Thanks for coming by, Andrew.
Great to see you, chat. Later.
Have a wonderful dinner.
Erase better.
Same error.
Let's see.
Maybe I cursed you by putting the error decorative prop on the table.
Oh no, I don't think there's anything wrong with that. Did I buy the wrong chip? I'm pretty sure I didn't.
Was it a fishy chip?
MC90. So S021345 TMC90. TMC90. 29 LV1060 or 160 TMC. Yep, no, that's the correct BIOS chip.
It's the correct one, but is it dodgy?
Yeah, that's
Is it fried?
impossible to. Well, if it's detecting, it shouldn't be okay, or it shouldn't be a problem. Am I missing any points here? Did I?
Are you looking at this DC SWAT page?
No, currently I'm back to Monkey.
Monkey.
Yeah. Previously it was the DC SWAT.
That was error code 2.
Okay, I'm going to double check one more time my my solder point for the last weird one. And if that doesn't work...
Is this something here about a VA0?
Yeah, this is not a VA0 motherboard, thankfully.
Okay, good.
This is the second.
With that one, you have to swap a bunch of the wires around. So.
Yeah, that was my first question. Okay, well, let's while I've got it up and running, let's turn the BIOS, or let's change BIOSes back to the bootable one. How close are we just casting into the sea and never speaking of it again? Well, I did say that this was going to be the finale.
And I've been telling people that either you or it will die in this stream. So.
I think Paul, you mentioned on Checkpoint today that you had my guarantee that this is going to be the final episode.
It did. I was like, yeah, Ian says this is definitely the last one, and I totally believed him.
Yeah. It's a fateful night for Ian Horner.
It is indeed, and it might actually end up just being the final episode of the Dreamcast project, because if it does require me to resolder it, I might just god damn it, end up doing that at home.
Did you break the thing again?
Yep.
Next time, Ian will get a larger gauge wire.
Let's see if I can detect that BIOS again. Yeah, and we're back to read only. So at least it's still detecting properly. Okay, let's go down and let's just have a look and make sure it's soldered in the right place. And if it is soldered in the right place, then I think we might just have to call it there. Let's find out. Come on.
Yeah, I gotta say, as somebody who works primarily in the software realm, there's so many situations. There's so many things that go wrong. With getting weird incompatibilities between different pieces of software, browsers rendering things differently, blah blah blah.
Yep.
To add then the actual physical hardware stuff on top of that is always the thing that I remember reading this book about early days of computer stuff, and the whole thing where they would be literally hand wiring these big processors. You know, they would actually, like, the original processors would actually have like wires all through them.
Yeah.
And they would always they always had two. Like, you always had to have two copies of it, because every time you made a change to one of them, you had to make the change to the other one. And the reason why you had to have two is because whenever you ran into an error, you had to figure out whether it was an actual error with your programming or just the wire was busted. Because as you're working with it, the wires got frayed or the wires got broken and stuff, and it just seems absolutely brutal.
Is it a real hardware issue, or is it Memorex? All right. So it is pin 44. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay. 8 pins in. Let's count them off with our handy dandy little counter. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Second hole up is the second hole up. That appears to be... Yep. And I checked the continuity on that elsewhere as well. So it's in the right place. So this might just not be a good chip.
Oh man. Is there any way, there's no way to test chips without putting them in situ, eh?
Yeah, they've got to be in, so you can test chips, but you have to have something to put them into. In that case, it would be a tester or, as you say, in situ on the board.
Right. So you would need, like, not only would you need a chip tester, but you would need like a specific for that chip tester.
Yeah, or at least that form factor.
Right.
That said, just checking again because I'm always paranoid. Okay, that's how it's supposed to be. That said, I'm probably going to look into some alternate methods of flashing this. Because if you recall from a previous episode, when I had to flash this bad boy's BIOS, I ended up using, it was in situ, but I ended up using some probes that connect directly to the pins. And if there's any way that I can do that with this thing...
the idea that Dream Shell might not be able to connect to it, but maybe there's another way to flash it.
Exactly, yeah.
Sort of bootstrap it.
Yeah, if I can just flash it and then boot from it directly, then that would be a much easier way of doing that. Yeah, test clips, that's what they're called. They're really great, and I really like them. But, yeah, boy, I'm disappointed. I'm sorry.
That's okay.
But sometimes this does happen, yeah.
Such as the way of things. That's the Tinker Tailor, show the whole process.
The highs and the lows. So like I said, yeah, and speaking of the whole process, as I mentioned, I'm going to try playing around with this off air, see if I can figure out what the issue is. And then if I get to another state of progress, then maybe we'll bring it back. Or maybe we'll just bring it back when it's ready to go, because this has been done for a while. Thanks so much, everyone, for watching. We got some business to take care of here before we say goodbye. Shall we start with what's coming up later on in the week?
Yeah, we got coming up tomorrow morning, bright and early. We got Adam is playing Persona 5. He is deep into that. Deep into that game.
He'll kill God with the power of Satan.
Probably. I think he said he's over 100 hours in now.
Good God, I mean, he was maxed on all his stats the last time I checked something.
Yeah, and I mean, he literally acquired Satan as a persona. So.
Oh, well.
Yeah.
I mean, he's just an angel. It's nothing special.
Yeah.
And following that, we've got Friday Night Paper Fight, where we've got the Canadian Highlander Winter League. With the boys from North 100, plus Cam and Nelson.
Big value.
Big value.
Doing all the Canadian Highlander streams. Some powerful magic.
Good stuff.
More Persona 5.
More Satan.
on Saturday. And then Saturday night, we've got Loading Ready Live. Something's going to happen. We don't know what, but something will probably happen.
More Satan.
We'll find out at 11. You'll find out at 6 p.m.
Yep.
Mm.
And then on Sunday, more Cadence of Hyrule.
We are just about done with that, so I think we'll be finishing that up. And if we finish early, probably going to be lo-fi ping pong.
Isn't ping pong already like the most lo-fi game ever made?
It is, but okay, lo-fi ping pong. If you haven't checked it out, is one of my favorite, really chill games because it's got that lo-fi 16-bit style, but in 2009, so it looks a lot better. Then it's got that lo-fi beats to play ping pong too, and it's actually a lot of fun and rhythmy. I recommend it. It's $5.
And then on Monday, it is Dice Friends, Alien Heat Death,
Episode 3 or 4? 3?
Episode 3.
Episode 3. I am very excited to get back to the Lodomia. Gotta get back to my ship.
And also, as a note, so this is the 3rd episode of Alien Heat Death happening on Monday, the Monday afterwards. So in 2 weeks, or the Alien campaign is going to be taking a 1 week hiatus as some of the people involved are going to be at PAX East. And instead, Adam's going to be doing a book game.
A fighting fantasy?
It is. I believe it will not be a fighting fantasy. It is a different book game, which I'm actually very excited about to try. It's gonna be interesting. We'll see how it goes. We'll see if the system or if a different system works better or worse. I don't know.
You're developing a palette for it.
Could you say what is the number on the chip?
I was actually just copying that out to put in the chat for Dark
great,
Morford specifically.
So anyway, lots of cool stuff coming up in the next little while. And as I said, PAX East is next weekend. So keep an eye on the schedule, loadingreadyrun.com/live for there might be some minor schedule updates in the back half of next week, just as we figure out what people's availability is going to be. And when they're leaving for PAX East and all that kind of stuff. But
we have to thank a lot of people.
Yeah, we have to thank all the amazing people who support us in all the many ways, both here on Twitch and on Patreon and through YouTube subscriptions, YouTube memberships. And also we want to thank the people in particular who supported us, who subscribed or resubscribed during this stream.
During this very stream. Starting with Banak Spacebar, who's been here for 30 months. Thank you so much for your support.
And thank you to Snack Pack for 21 months of support.
Thanks to Alice Babylon for 7 months of support.
And Vampiric Sloth for 24 months of support, the 2 years.
Hey, thank you, Freshmaker, for 25 months of subscription.
And Batata Online, a new subscriber. Thank you for joining us.
Hey, I would like to thank Leafy Greens for 4 months of subscription.
We're green. Too many knives. I don't know that feeling. For a full year. Thank you.
I'd like to thank Alexandoom123 for 14 months of subs.
And Hunter Prime for 38 months of support.
Thank you, Kiwi Boy. You've been here for 6 months. Cheers to you.
And Surf Durf, 17 months. Thank you.
Thermos has been a subscriber for 51 months. Thank you.
The exact same for 38 same months.
Thank you, Crispy042 for 36 months of subscription.
Hanged Man for 38 months of subscription. Thank you.
Cheers to D Dr. Rec O for 36 months.
And Herbert Erpaderp, 35 months of support. Thank you.
Ooh, thank you.
53
53.
months of support. Thank you for all that extra support.
35 and a bunch more.
Yeah.
I feel like everyone is like slightly dyslexic. It's
A little
weird.
bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, a little bit.
Cheers to you, Variable. You've been variable for 74 months, and that's great.
And Alaro, 56. 31 months, getting up to 56.
It's an email. Ice Light, 35 months. Thank you for your continued support.
And Devrak Crow for 7 months, almost to 9.
Edmund Juniper, 37 month subscription. Cheers to you.
And Gloating Client 8 for 2 months. I'm sure you've had to deal with that in tech.
Gloating. Yeah. Thanks, Mirk. You've been here for 63 months.
Yeah.
I appreciate that.
I also appreciate Nikus for 13 months, just over a year.
And F.I. Torion has been a subscriber for 67 months. How have we been getting this wrong the whole time?
That's the sex number.
Yes! The FL.
Yeah.
And thank you for those bits to type 1.
Bit.
The bits,
Bit,
the
bit,
bits, the
bit.
bits. So thank you so much for joining us once again today, Dark More Forward. That chip number has been posted into the chat there for you. And yes, as MTV Commander is saying, this now concludes our Loading Ready Run broadcast day. Thank you so much, everyone, once again for joining. We'll see you again next week. As we say every time, ever forward, never learning.
Safety third.